Hello, everyone. This is Phillip LeFranc in PSC 103, doing a video preparation for our study topics for the first celebration of knowledge. And my topic is water cycle and how it affects erosion. So basically, what we have to understand before we can get into the water cycle is the rock cycle. And we most importantly have to understand that most of the time rock is formed under intense heat or intense pressure, or sometimes even both. But most of the time, water is not readily available in the areas of the earth where rock is being formed. And then as the rock cycle occurs, uplift happens or seismic activity happens, or sometimes that rock is erupted onto the surface, and basically new rock is brought to the surface. And as layers of protective rock get peeled away and new rock is exposed, now water can start to act upon it where it wouldn't have been as the rock was forming. And this weathering that can come from the water, or many other sources too, weathering can break down exposed rock, and water is one of the most powerful weathering agents, and that's why we're going to be focusing on the water cycle today, because water is super powerful at not only being a weathering agent, but also in transporting some of the weathered material away. So now that the water can have an effect on that newly exposed rock, we've got to understand how the rocks or the water cycle works. And so basically, evaporation turns liquid water on the surface of the earth into atmospheric water. And that can eventually come down as rain, snow, or hail in what's called precipitation. And that precipitation, as it's coming down, well, now that's a new physical force that is weathering some of the rock that is on the surface of the earth. And not only precipitation, but also melting ice can also create some of that liquid water supply to have those physical effects on the surface of the earth, creating streams and runoff angles. And that sort of thing is going to break away bits of rock and create sediments. And so these sediments are just going to be smaller bits, sometimes bigger bits, but then because all that water is acting upon those bits of sediments that have just been broken off of bigger pieces of rock, now you've also got a transportation of a way for all those sediments to leave where they were brought up to the surface in a lot of the time. And so water is really, really effective at transporting rock because it's just more effective than wind or some other transportation. But that's because water acts as like a flowing force, and it can lift stuff that seems relatively heavy because water has polarity and sticks to itself. And for a lot of other reasons, that's probably beyond the scope of this video, but all that water basically works together to push away those bits of sediment away from its home material. And so it's also important to understand that glacial ice, which is also part of the water cycle, can create erosion and transport some of that water away. And basically, this whole process is the process of erosion, where bits of water can impact the home material of a lot of these rocks, whether it's through rain or whether it's through liquid water or whether it's snow melt or whether it's just glacial ice moving. All that can create new sediments, and then those sediments can be taken away by liquid water or glacial ice or a whole bunch of other ways that water can move those sediments. And then eventually you can have something like this, the Grand Canyon, over lots and lots of time. All that water cycle is going to, just start as a stream and start taking away a whole bunch of bits. All this sediment that's here gets taken away, and all that's erosion, and that can uh, be a huge wonder of the world. Anyway, thank you for watching. Bye bye.